Welcome back for another update on my micro bootlegger cedar strip kayak build. Yesterday I played around with some different wood color dyes on some scrap pieces that I glued together to try to figure out what color I want to dye the top part of the boat. So from the water line up, it'll be whatever color I come up with. This one didn't turn out too well. This was just scraps that I threw together at the last second, so it wasn't sanded, so it doesn't look nearly as smooth. So I'm using the Keda powder dyes. This is a kit that comes with red, yellow, blue, brown, and black for testing. I'm using denatured alcohol for my to set it in or dissolve it in. I did 4 ounces of the alcohol. This one came out the darkest. I did basically a whole half a teaspoon of powder in 4 ounces. So there's a lot of dye pigment in this one. The rest of these have closer to only 1/4 of a teaspoon of pigment. This one is a little special. It started off this color, and then I took just plain blue and came back over it to see what adding blue on top would do. I was originally trying to shoot for a teal color and missed with this first one. It came out really dark green. The blue shows up a little bit more, but it did come out really dark. As much as I really like this color, there's no way I'm going to dye my kayak this color. I don't want a really dark green kayak on top of the water. It's just where I paddle or where I will be paddling, I can see boats not seeing me if I basically blend into the water around me. I'm kind of leaning towards the purple. I'm a big fan of purple. I like green. A lot of stuff that I own that I've painted myself end up some type of shade of green or purple. It's just those are the colors I've always liked. This orangey red just does kind of intrigue me. I think it's kind of cool. It looks a little bit brighter in person. It's hard to, I don't know, get colors to show up on camera. This green is driving me nuts right now. It's really not that dark, but the camera sure thinks so. So I put, like I said, 4 ounces in each of the jars, added the powder, and then mixed them up. That's the purple. And then I had some of those applicator sponges laying around from a previous project. The previous project, these really didn't work that well. The sponge kept just basically falling apart, but it worked pretty good for these dyes. Let me know what color you like. This is supposed to be blue, and it just, like I said, I think it's the board I used. This is kind of the same blue, but only one coat. I did put, the reason why everything is shiny is I went and broke open my epoxy, mixed up some of the epoxy and poured it on top and brushed it on. I wanted to see if the epoxy was going to change the color. And if you look here in the corner where I didn't put any epoxy, there is a little difference in the color. The epoxy is supposed to be a clear, but everything, I don't know of any finish that doesn't put some type of tint on whatever's underneath it. As far as the kayak itself, I'm almost through stripping the rear deck. I got this little sliver on both sides, and that'll be done. This side is still unsanded. I started sanding this side, cleaning up that rough edge. And I'm gonna have, the way I did it, with how I did it, I'm gonna end up with a couple of cracks here and there I'll have to fill. And I will round this over. Right now it's a really sharp corner because I only sanded this direction. But I'm gonna round this to smooth it out a little bit more. And that's not gonna come out good, I have a feeling. And then, yeah, the sliver on this side. The front is done being stripped. This part doesn't matter. The front cockpit comes to about right here-ish, somewhere in here. So that all gets cut out and thrown away anyways. So I stopped. But I've started sanding the front deck. It's nice and pretty smooth. I've mostly only hit it with the random orbital at this point. And then when I get it mostly smooth with the random, I'll come back with that guy and fair out any bumps that the random leaves. Make it nice and smooth. That's where we're at with the kayak. This right here is, the top is not quite lined up with the bottom. And there's a form keeping me from pulling it any closer in there. So that'll be, I'll have to watch out for that whenever I get around to actually gluing the deck and the bottom back together. That's where we're at. Next update should be after I'm finished with the rear deck. I'll sand the entire boat with the random orbital, get it fairly smooth. And then I'll cut the cockpit out. I'm gonna try to crank up the big camera and actually video the process of cutting out the cockpit. These big clamps are being used to pull this down tight. The part of the boat that was already glued together, lift it away from the forms a little. You can see how I can push it down just a little. So this is squeezing the side of the boat down to the rear deck. Can I get that in there? Nope. I'm gonna cut this off so I can get that in there, but I'll try to do this one-handed. That's gonna screw everything up, make it worse. Yay! Go me. There we go. There. I'll make that flat. Anyways, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching.